My name is Jason Ackerman. Along with that guy, Jason Fernandez, we founded Best Hour of Their Day in 2019. We coach affiliates. We help them with business. We help them with coaching development. We've helped dozens, if not hundreds of people pass their level 3, their level 4, open affiliates, sell affiliates. I've owned and sold 3 affiliates. Currently own 1 affiliate, Best Hour CrossFit. It's my basement, 2 members. One's my wife. She started doing her own programming, and I got to get rid of her. Outside of that, we've met each other maybe 12, 13 years ago on CrossFit seminar staff. Together, we've worked 500 or more seminars around the world, and we love this thing. We only work with CrossFit affiliates because that's what we know, and that's what we love. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about sales. How many of you think you're in sales? How many of you think you're in sales? If your hand's not up, you're wrong. So let's start there. You are all in sales. You're selling something. How many people have walked into your gym and you've been like, hey, I have something to sell you? That means you're in sales. Like you, in 2007, I learned this. I didn't realize I was in sales either. And I hope by now, when someone walks in, because really this entire presentation is predicated on the fact that you believe in what you're selling. So in 2006, I found CrossFit. In 2007, I opened my first CrossFit in upstate New York, Albany CrossFit. And I believed in it. It was working for me, but I wasn't positive that it was going to work for anyone else. I was like, this works for me. I hope it works for you, John Johnson. That was the person's name, first member that joined my gym. It did work for him. And then it worked for a girl named Jess Lasky, my second member. And I was like, oh, this thing does work. And I gained some confidence in my sales. And I recently gave a similar presentation to our year 2. So our curriculum extends as long as you care to stay with us. Some people going on 5 years now. And as we got through this presentation, a lot of people were asking about objections, right? Have you guys tried to make a sale and someone's like, for whatever reason, I'm not going to do this? So that's what I'd like to spend the majority of this talking about. But let's talk about when you first start. Many of you just found out you're in sales, so congratulations. It's going to be a wild ride. When you first start, you're going to be bad. You're going to be like, hey, we have a membership. It costs this. Do you want to pay me money? And you'll get better at it over time. Who knew they were in sales and has actually felt as if they've made improvements? Cool. And by the way, this helps if you answer my questions, 1. And I think, is there beer here? Yes. If everybody would start drinking heavily at this point, I get better looking and funnier if you drink more. Are there shots? So, like anything in life, you learn by doing, the power of repetition. That first sale, maybe it's successful, maybe it isn't. But then you'll have a second, a third, a fourth. And just like that first CrossFit workout, to your 10th, to your 100th, simply by doing, you will get better at it. And like anything, like CrossFit, like anything, any endeavor you've begun in your life, you start small and you master the basics. Coach Glassman said many times, master the basics, and when you feel like you have, go back and revisit them. And the same holds true for anything we're doing, right? That's how we get to virtuosity. Doing the common uncommonly well. And that's the same thing we want to do in our fitness, our coaching, and our sales process. And just like your CrossFit, how many of you have told this to a member? Let's get 1% better. All the time. And that's all we're hoping for, because it's compounding. And if you get better at that second sale, that third sale, by your 100th sale, you'll be an expert. Here's a framework, and much of this is going to be a framework, right? There's no scripts. I know you're all CrossFit affiliate owners, and you think you're high and mighty. We don't do scripts. We don't do any of this stuff. It's framework. You're coaches, right? Do all of you coach as well as on your box? How many, any level 4s out there? Just the 2 of us, no big deal. Actually, it's Chase. Where's Chase? That's still just Fern. Yeah, one day, Jace, you'll strive for it. We'll help you. We got a program for you, actually. How many level 3s out there? There we go. Nice job. That's not an easy test. Level 2s, right? So no different than your cross, and I assume the rest of you level 1s. Yeah? Cool. No different than CrossFit with coaching, right? When someone walks in, you're their coach. You have to be able to coach them. And by being confident in your product, you'll be better able to coach them. And it's a framework. It's all about asking questions. This is something Alex Hormozy uses as a broader framework for sales, but we can niche it down to the CrossFit affiliate. We're going to use the closer framework. I want you guys to leave here feeling better able to sell, and then better able as we work through this to handle objections, because they will inevitably come. Closer, acronym, CLOSER. Let's talk about the C, clarify their purpose. So someone's emailed you, filled out your lead magnet, showed up at your door. You have someone wanting to join. First thing you have to do is clarify why they're there. Why did they show up? Why did they fill out your form? They all come in at 2 a.m., right? 2 in the morning. It's like, I'm eating a pint of ice cream. I feel terrible about myself. I should join a CrossFit affiliate. Clarify their purpose. Why are you here? Well, I want to lose 20 pounds. Or my doctor said I have to go on statins if I don't do something. Or my wife doesn't look at me the same way she used to. Clarify their purpose. Start to ask questions. You're their coach. No different than any of your members. Get to know them better. The better you know them, the moment they walk in, the better you're going to be able to get them to join. Label their problem. This sounds similar to clarifying, but it's different. They've told you their issue. Now we're talking about how you can help them, labeling it. And everyone that has either filled this out or is standing in front of you, they're standing somewhere, who they are today. Right now, this is who I am. And you want to show them that gap of here you are, here's where you want to be. You want to lose 20 pounds, it's over here. But guess what? During the middle of this thing, I'm the guy. I'm the girl. I'm the one that can help you close that gap. We overview their past pain. They've got this gap there. We talk about their pain. Why have you struggled to lose 20 pounds in the past? What was your weight at your peak, and where do you want to be now? The more painful you make that, the more of a savior you are, the broader we're making that gap. Overview where they were, things that have worked in the past, things that haven't. This is where, when they say, well, I joined a gym in the past and they made me eat broccoli all day. Cool, we don't do that here. Oh, that sounds a lot better. Or when they tell you, hey, I went to this gym and I really liked the fact that they, started every day with a 400-meter run. Cool, we do that here. You can tell them the things you don't do, that they don't want to do, and help highlight the things they do want to do. Sell the vacation. And this is where a lot of us, I'm an affiliate owner, Fern's an affiliate owner, go wrong, right? We start talking about all the things they are going to have to do to hit that goal. Well, you're going to have to show up 5 days a week. You're going to have to sit in front of me while I stand in front of this whiteboard and tell you about the workout. Then we're going to do a general warm-up, specific warm-up. We're going to hit a workout. We're going to cool down. They already want to do this thing. Talk about what it's going to be like when they lose that 20 pounds. How good are you going to feel when that 20 pounds is off you? How good are you going to feel when you go back to the doctor and he says, what have you been doing? You don't have to take any medication. No different than going on a trip. Hey, tell me about Maui. Don't tell me about how long security is going to take. Don't tell me about that stinky person I'm going to be sitting next to on the airplane. Tell me about this trip. If they don't say yes right there, there's going to be some objections. This is what we're going to dive into. I'm going to help you explain away all of those concerns. But if they do say yes, you have to reinforce their decision. This is something Fern and I work with at length, Joel as well, with onboarding with our clients. And how many of you offer an onboarding at your box? Cool, some of you just haven't joined class. No right or wrong. But they've said yes. And now they're going to go home, and for the next 24 to 72 hours, they're going to think about all the reasons this was a terrible decision. What you want to do is make this a nice, smooth, simple transition from you signed up to here's what it's going to look like. So for example, I get someone to join. Cool. Your next session, we call this BAM FAM, book a meeting from a meeting. Your next session is going to be with Joel. Then when they meet Joel, and they've told me already about their injuries and their past experiences, Joel, hey, Sally, great to meet you. Jay told me your knee was banged up. Jay told me about your goal of losing 20 pounds. I'm here for you. The more cohesive you make it from the moment they join, from sales to onboarding, and that continues right through day number 1 when they walk into their first class. The better and tighter you can make that, this is not only the ending of your sales process, it's the beginning of your retention process. Questions on any of that? No? Is it working for you guys? Closer? Cool. Well, let's talk about objections. But here's all I ask of you all. So I like to think of objections like zombies. And I want you guys all to leave here as a zombie killer. Zombie killers. But in order to kill other people's zombies, you also have to kill the zombie within all of you. So as we go through this, I ask you to think about the objections you have. You're standing here today, you've got, bless you, you've got affiliate mentorship like Best Hour, you've got nutrition coaching like HSN, but all of you still have zombies, reasons you can't do that. You all own businesses, but you still have reasons you don't need a mentor, right? Who's not working with a mentor out there currently? Some of you? Oh, cool. So in order to better help somebody else, you have to help yourself. In order to help someone with their stories, you have to work on your own stories. So I want you to think about it from 2 different perspectives. How you're going to coach, but what you can do better. All objections fall into 3 major buckets, and you can probably go deeper than these, but I have found 3 major buckets. And you call them emotional disturbances. They're basically blame of something. Circumstances, others, and self. Circumstances, others, and self. And when we think about it, it's like an onion. We're peeling back layers of the onion because your ultimate goal is to get them to realize it's them. It's them. And the goal will be when you hear their objection or their excuse or their reason they can't do it, to understand what layer of this onion you're at with a goal of peeling it back. Peel back the layer of circumstances to others. Peel that back to self. And based on the objection they give you, you'll know what layer you're in. Within those buckets, there's 5 major excuses. And again, like anything, we can dig deeper and deeper, but for ease, we'll lump them into 5 categories. Time, value or money, fit, this isn't a good fit for me, I'm not a good fit for your program, authority, I don't have the authority to make this decision, and avoidance. These are the 5 major excuses you'll see. So let's talk about time. How many of you have heard this excuse or made this excuse about working on your business? How many of you have had someone come in and you're like, hey, I don't have time to do this thing, this CrossFit thing? But please, hands, so thank you. Went from no one to everyone. All right. You've all heard that. Has anybody used this excuse about working on your own business? Oh, some of you. All right, Candy. Now is not the right time. I'm too busy. And I want you to think again, this is not a script. It's a framework. The better you understand it, the better you can understand what you're dealing with. And there's going to be 3 major categories when it comes to time. Macro, micro, and when then. We'll dig into each one. So I want you to think about macro, as I've got a lot going on. This is a busy season for me. And it's perfect timing because we're about to head into it. So you'll have people that you know should be exercising, should be working out, but it's the holidays. I'm too busy. So let's think about that. Again, you're hearing what they're saying. How do we overcome that? Well, Do you plan on exercising forever? Yeah. Do you think you're going to be busy again in your life? Yeah. So don't you want to learn how to do this thing now when you're busy, so you're set up for success in the future when you're busy again? Yeah. Think about that. If they're too busy, that's exactly when they need to start. Because what's going to happen? Have you guys all had members that have gotten too busy to come into the gym? Yeah. And they either disappear, they put their membership on hold, but if you can upfront let them know, hey, I'll help you work through this. It's the beauty of CrossFit. It's an hour. You do this 3 times a week, you're going to get pretty fit. How many of you felt this way about working on your business? Yeah, what was your excuse? Busy season? What's busy season? Does your business stop running because it's the holidays? Right, like maybe you shut down for Christmas, but outside of that, still bills to pay, still classes to run. Micro. I don't have time in my day. And we'll dig deeper into all of these, but spoiler alert, we all have 24 hours. When I have time, I will start. And again, we'll dig deeper into these. So macro, we've talked a little bit about it. Busy is the best time to start because you're going to be busy again. So let's start right now. When you're busy, you've got a coach like me that will support you along the way. Remind them of that. I think a lot of your people that are going to walk into your gym are not used to having a coach. They're used to being busy joining the standard gym down the road where no one holds them accountable. In fact, they're encouraged not to come. You want them to be there. Let's talk micro. I don't have time in my day. Is there someone with less time than you making this happen? Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? Anybody have kids? They take 25 hours a day. But do you guys all still make a workout happen? Right? Jeff Bezos has 24 hours in his day. So do you. So do you. And I want you to think about whether it's someone walking into the gym or you working on your business, what you're doing is not working. Right? You guys familiar with the term being busy, not productive? For many people, it's not about what they're doing, it's what they shouldn't be doing. How many of you affiliate owners are cleaning your bathrooms? Some of you, right? You think anybody can clean your bathrooms as well as you can? Yes. Yes, they can. I know you don't think they can. I know. What we tell people is 80% as good as you is 100% you. Because your time cleaning the bathroom is better spent retaining your members, taking a member out to coffee, right? Thinking about what you can do to make this a better experience for your people. So in that micro where they don't have time, I'll give you guys a way I like to give some people some hard coaching. So I don't recommend doing this, but if someone tells you, somebody walks in, hey, I hear you, this CrossFit thing, it sounds great, but I don't have the time. Let me see your phone. Let's open up your screen time. Oh, you had 3 hours on TikTok yesterday? Cool. Do you think you could have maybe taken a third of that to exercise? You can't do that to someone new, right? They're going to get offended. So here's 3 ways I have found it best to coach someone when you're about to offend them, all right? So if I ever say these things to you, I'm about to offend you nicely. First thing I like to say is, hey, do you mind if I take off my friend hat and put on my coaching hat? Right? Someone's sitting there, hey, can I put on my coaching hat for a second? All of a sudden, it's reframed. Cool. I got a coach talking to me. Try that one. You all have members you want to do this to, right? Like, dude, you don't need more programming. You need to stop binge drinking every weekend. Right? Anybody have those members? Like, the programming sucks. I saw you passed out on the side of the road. Our programming's just fine. All right, here's another one. I use this one a lot. So if I were talking to someone I wanted to give some hard truth, I'd be like, hey, Johnny was here earlier, and he was saying the same thing that you're saying, and this is what I said to Johnny. Right? So now I'm coaching Johnny, even though I'm really coaching this person. And then lastly, I use this one a lot with either I use Fern sometimes or I use my wife sometimes. They're interchangeable at this point. But I'll be like, hey, Fern was telling me this. Fern was telling me, man, you're on TikTok a lot. And I didn't realize how much I was on TikTok, but I am, right? So again, you're not coaching them, somebody else coached you. Again, just think about that, because this is one, how many of you guys have heard that? I don't have time to do CrossFit. I don't have time to work out. I have time to work on my business, right? You do. All right, the when then fallacy. When I have time, I'll start. This is like, hey, when I'm rich, I will start saving. Right? What's the classic one in CrossFit? We'll get to it, but you guys, hey, when I get fit, I'll be back. When I'm ready for this thing, I'll be here. Don't worry. And again, when talking to a client, I just use this frame of, hey, I had that same feeling, man. When I wasn't ready, and I was like, when I get fit, I'll be back. I'll start, I'll wake up every morning. I'll start running. I'll do some push-ups. And the logic is backwards, right? When I get fit, when I have a six-pack, I will be back. You'll see me when I have that six-pack, right? So just explaining to them, hey, this is actually what gets you there. It's you see it a lot these days in business, right? This crazy morning routine. Like, hey, it takes me I wake up, I meditate for 4 hours, and I hop in my cold plunge, right? I stare at the sun. And then I start working. Like, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but man, for those 3 hours, I'm dialed in. Now, we look at that, but we're looking at it backwards, because that person that's doing that morning routine didn't do it to get to where they are today. Now that they're rich, or now that their business is crushing, they can do those things. You have to do the work to get to that point. All right, time. Make sense? So how many of you make the excuse, I don't have time? Some of you don't? You don't make any excuses? Huh. No. Are you guys married? That was good. That was right. That was right. No, honey. No, honey. You don't make excuses. All right. So time, right? It's a busy time of year. I don't have time right now, or when I have time, I'll start. Cool. We can work on those. Let's talk about value or money. I can't afford it. If you guys had people, this is obviously a big one in the CrossFit space. Let's again, I want to better equip you. So when someone comes to you, I go, time, cool, I've heard this before. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about money. I can't afford it. We're going to talk about why costing a lot is actually good, why it actually doesn't cost a lot, what is money good for anyway, and it's not about your resources. So these are the 4 major topics we'll hear, kind of layers of excuses as we go through. So why costing a lot is good. How many of you, you've explained to them what CrossFit is, like, oh, that's expensive? Yeah, all of you. I used to have it back in 2007 when I was charging $80. I'm certain it's still happening today when it's $200. So one of the easiest questions to ask is, hey, is this a lot of money for you? Sometimes we're just afraid to ask obvious questions. Is this a lot for you? Yeah, well, that's exactly why you're going to crush it. Because it's a big investment for you. You're going to take this really seriously. That's good. This program works. Do you work? And here's a really good one. Would you believe me if this were if this were $15 a month, would you believe that this worked? Probably not. That's why we charge $150. That's why we charge $180. And again, asking questions, many of the people that walk into your gym will already have a membership elsewhere, and understanding, relatively speaking, it might seem like a lot, and we'll talk a little bit more, but it's not. And then asking them, how long do you want this to be a problem? How long do you want the fact that you want to lose 20 pounds to be a problem? Because if this worked, when it works, would it be worth that cost? Here's why it doesn't cost a lot. If all this did was X, if all this did was help you lose 20 pounds, if all this did was get you off medications, if all this did for you all as business owners was double your business, if that's all it did, would it be worth it? Yeah. And this is where you have to be real with them. So the price isn't an issue, because you said it would be worth it. You don't believe me that I will deliver what I'm telling you I will deliver. And again, the cost can... So how many of you have joined a gym in the past, a standard gym before CrossFit? How much are they these days? Less than a CrossFit affiliate? But I have this conversation. You have a membership to Gold's Gym? How much is that? Oh, it's $30 a month. And how often do you go? Well, I don't really go. That seems like a lot more expensive than this membership because I'm going to ask you to come 16 times this month. Price per visit is significantly lower than your $30 membership. Plus, it works.
If you're enjoying this content, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, if you're interested in what we do in Affiliate University, there's going to be a link somewhere around this video. Book a call. We'd love to talk to you about how we can help you build a better box.
So about what's money good for anyway? You guys know CrossFit is free, correct? Go on CrossFit.com. Since February 10th, 2001, there's been workouts. 3 on, 1 off. Mix it up a little bit now, but it's absolutely free, and you can do it anywhere. But what's money good for? Well, one, you're going to spend your money anyway. All of you are spending money, and you're still, again, talking to these potential members. Here you are, looking like you look. Hey, you got to be real. And again, it's free. You can go learn this. You can go watch all the videos. You can go on YouTube. You can go search every exercise movement standard. It's free. But money will speed that up. No different than business coaching, right? Fern and I have recorded, I don't know, 8,000 podcasts. They're all out there for free. You can learn everything we coach for free. What will money do? It will get it in your brain faster. It will get it in your brain with a coach supporting you, holding you accountable. You've spent money for the last 5 years, and here you are. What has it done for you? So you might as well change what you're spending it on. It's not about your resources, have you guys heard this? It's about being resourceful. So one, someone else, and this is where I love to have other people around at the box, whether it's your ambassadors, whether it's just great members. Hey, that guy over there said the same thing. That woman over there started driving Uber so she can come here, right? Other people have already done this. It's about being resourceful. And when we talk about this, how many of you have had an unexpected bill come as a business owner? Taxes, right? Every year. Your affiliate dues, you're like, again? Or when they raise rates, right? How many of you, right? Affiliate dues went up. You're all still, everybody has to be an affiliate owner to be here right now. So what's that mean? Yeah, you were able to be resourceful for somebody else, but not for yourself, right? And it's the same thing for a potential member. They've had the same thing. They've had bills come up. Their kid's gotten sick. They've gotten into a car accident where they've had to get money. Well, when it comes to doing it for yourself, everybody struggles. So, killing zombies of time. Time's not your issue. Money. If it's expensive, cool. That's good. It's actually not that expensive, relatively speaking, and you need to be resourceful. Now, I'm not sure this is for me. Has anybody gotten this one? I'm not sure this is for me. And I also want you to think about this as like, I've tried this thing before, right? Because how many of you have used the excuse or made the comment of like the box down the road is doing me dirty? Whatever that looks like, right? Their programming is terrible, or they're watering down CrossFit. I'm not sure this is a fit for me. Well, we got a new identity for new priorities, the pain of change, and then hypothetical. We'll talk about these three. So, new identity, new priorities. You all became CrossFitters. How many of you had no exercise prior to CrossFit? Like no exercise experience. Like CrossFit was your first form of, none of you? You all did something? Cool. Well, how many of you did something different than CrossFit and then started, okay, that should be all of you, right? Who are you trying to become? Because all of a sudden you're like, well, how many of you are runners? Cool. So you went from, well, I buy New Balance, right? Then I buy Nanos. Now I buy Nobles. Oh, now I buy GoRuck, right? Who is the person you're trying to become? You're becoming a different person. That's what you're trying to sell these people. Who you are, we need to change that identity to someone that exercises. What would someone that is fit, what would someone that lost 20 pounds do? Well, they'd probably exercise. They'd probably join a gym. And here we are inside a gym. And people who want to be fit make the time, and they budget for this. You have to help them understand to become the person they want to be, they have to make the changes to become that person. You've heard Tony Robbins talk about the pain of change. No? How much pain do you have to be in to make a change? Change requires change. How many of you have worked with, we'll talk nutrition after this, but anybody do nutrition meal plans at their box? Some of you you've come to the right place, I guess, to learn about that. But I remember sitting down with someone about a meal plan, and we're like going through it, and she's like, I see that you have eggs here for breakfast. Can I use my old breakfast, this breakfast that I like to eat, cereal? I said, that breakfast makes you look like you. And if you want to change, you got to change what you're eating too. Because what you've been doing has gotten you here. And maybe you're just not in enough pain to join today, right? What is enough pain? Look, come back when you've gained 30 pounds. We'll talk again. That's not bad. It's just, hey, we all have a different rock bottom. I have a rock bottom. It was 168 pounds. 168 pounds, I looked in the mirror, I was like, you have to do something with your life. And I lost 30 pounds. Right? Everybody, who's got a rock bottom for them? Like, whether it's in the mirror, on the scale, their Cindy score, right? You're like, all right, that's it. Enough. I'm changing today. You just have to make sure you were in enough pain to make a change. And then we've got hypothetical. If this were perfect, would you do it? Ask that person that. Hey, if this were perfect, would you do it? Yes or no? If it's a no, cool. What would make it perfect? They don't know. They don't know what would make it perfect. They're going to give you an answer. Cool. We'll work on that. So you're in if we do that, right? So we have a client, Christian. He had someone come into the gym. He really wanted to join me. He's like, I don't want to snatch. And Christian called me and he was like, hey, this guy really wants to join, but he doesn't want to snatch. I was like, hey, don't make him snatch. So I went back to the guy, hey, would you join if we don't make you snatch? He was like, yeah. I was like, cool, let's do that one then. You don't have to snatch. You CrossFitters make it like incredibly challenging. Like, if you don't ever snatch again, you'll be fine, right? If you never rope climb again, like if someone's like, this is the one thing stopping me, I don't want to eat broccoli, cool, eat green beans. We're good? Yes. Right? It doesn't have to be so challenging there. Figure out what would make it perfect for them. And if it is still a no, it's you, right? They don't trust you. Because if you said, this is perfect, cool, you would join. And if this weren't perfect, but I changed it, you would join. So then it's me. Does my breath smell? 5 excuses. All right, this is, when I gave this talk to our year 2 people, this was the big one. How many of you have heard this? Like, I have to talk to my significant, like your hands straight up, right? All the time. This is a complete excuse, right? We'll dig into this one deeply because it's challenging. But understand, it's not their significant other. They're using them as an excuse. And we just have to get to what it is about them. I need to ask my partner first. And, it could be husband, wife, significant other, whatever this looks like, business partner, it could be anything. But understand, we still have to address it. You have to figure out what they're talking about, and just like any other objection, collapse it. Understand that they've already given you permission to do this thing, and the fact is you never actually needed their permission. So isolate and collapse. What we're talking about is, hey, what do you think they would disapprove of here? Because they're not here. They don't know me. So what do you think they're actually going to disapprove of? Then we address that. Well, they're afraid I'm going to fail. Oh, you're afraid you're going to fail. Again, unraveling it. So isolating the real cause behind it, the real issue, and then confronting that issue, right? Same thing. Well, it's expensive. All right, let's talk about it. We go back to money. It's actually not a lot of money. Or it's good that it's a lot of money. And they've already given you permission. You never needed it. And I want to be really clear. We'll talk about it, but this is challenge. How many of you feel a little uncomfortable when someone says this actually communicating with them, confronting them about this. Because who's married? Many of you, right? Like, if it's a really massive decision, the other person should be there. If this is a 10-year commitment, yeah, your spouse should be involved in this, or your business partner. But truth is, it's a gym membership. Do they approve of your current struggle? So you're talking to somebody. Is your husband happy that you're upset with yourself, that you don't feel good about yourself? Is it challenging? You're stressed out just hearing about it? No. You want to do therapy here? No. I'll do it. Go ahead. He's a beg for forgiveness. Yeah. You're still here. You're still here. It's working, right? Same thing. I mean, husband, wife, right? My wife's going to come home and be like, hey, I did this thing that I really wanted to do for myself. It's going to make me feel better. I'm going to be happier. I'm going to be a better wife. I'm going to take better care of the kids. Don't do it. Of course not. So think about that role reverse. Well, if the roles were reversed, would you support your husband? Would you support your wife? Of course I would. But you don't think they'll support you? Because what you actually need is support, not permission. Because at the end of the day, it's your decision to make. But you need support. You need to, again, go home. Honey, I joined the gym. There's these crazy CrossFit people. They all look alike. They do a WOD. I'm going to show up at 9 a.m. every day. My goal is to lose 20 pounds. Of course they're going to support you there. And again, I understand this was the most challenging thing for me to deal with. I would rather deal with someone talking about themselves. But your coaches, every one of you have said you have their level 1, 2 of us have our level 4. The rest of you are somewhere in between. And ultimately, this only works if you believe it. You have to firmly believe, like I said back in the day when I was like, I don't know if this works, to like, I know this works. CrossFit 100% works. Works even better if you eat meats, vegetables, nuts, seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar, or if you show up consistently. But this thing works so long as you do. And this is a really good spot to talk about offering a no sweat guarantee, right? Because if you're here and that person's like, I just don't know. I'm like, cool. We offer a 30-day guarantee. 30-day guarantee. So if you go home and your husband says, you know what, honey? I like you better chubby. And I like you sitting on the couch eating Cheetos. And I like it when you got the Cheeto fingers and you wipe them all over your sweatpants. I want you to stay like that. That's the lady I fell in love with. Cool. 30, you come back, I'll give you your money right back. But what's going to happen? They're going to come in, they're going to see progress, they're going to get that support. No different than we do, right? In Affiliate U, we tell people it's 100% risk-free because you have nothing to lose. Within 10 days, you're not happy? Cool, here's your money back. By the end of the year, if you don't get the results, if you didn't get your return on investment, increase your membership, do all the things, cool, we'll keep working with you for free until you do. So it's guaranteed. All right, last one. So you've peeled back the layer of the onion. Time, money, identity, your spouse. Now it's the center of that onion. We've gotten to the root of it. It's the self. I need to think more about it. I'm avoiding it. And we'll think about this in 3 different views: past, present, future. So in the past, they come in and they're like, wow, like I did not know you were going to ask me to join today. I did not think this was going to be like I have to sign up for your membership. And you just remind them, this isn't fast, right? This is the 3rd time you've emailed me, right? You sent me 3 different requests for information in the middle of the night. You've been thinking about this. You've texted me. I finally got you. This is not a fast decision. And they might say, well, you know, I've joined a gym, and how many of you have joined a CrossFit? I was a member of a gym in the past, right? A CrossFit in the past. And this is where you don't want to let something burn you twice, right? So this would be like in 6th grade when I caught Christina White making out with Pete Davenport near the slide, when I specifically asked her not to cheat on me, being like, you know what, women aren't for me. How many of you had a breakup in 6th grade, 7th grade? Other than Mike and Hope, married 41 years, all of you, right? Did you give up on dating? No. You can't let it burn you twice. If you do, you're letting the same mistake not only burn you the first time, but then continue to burn you. And asking them, hey, are you here because you didn't pull the trigger in the past? Had you come in and joined a year ago, would you need to lose 20 pounds or 10 pounds? Would you lose 20 pounds or 5 pounds? And how much has actually not doing the thing cost you? Because by not doing it, maybe you've continued to move your health markers in the wrong direction. And one of my favorite questions you just ask when you're trying to get to the root of like, what are you afraid of? So where they might say, you know, joking around again, like, are you afraid I'm going to take your credit card, run over to Whole Foods, buy every donut that they have, go back to my room, eat those donuts, or I disappear? No, I wasn't thinking that, actually. I was just thinking this is going to be really hard. Well, cool. Let's do this thing. Present. Dealt with the past. Present. For most people, they just need more information. They will say, like, I need time. Has anybody had, like, let me go home and think about this for them not to come back? They're not going home, sitting in their rocking chair, thinking about this massive decision they have to make, right? They're leaving the gym. They're going about their day. They're picking up Timmy in the car. They're going to soccer practice. They're going about their routine. And 3 days later, they go to put on those pair of jeans again that are too tight. Like, oh, I never made a decision, right? So you need to help them make that decision, because what they're not looking for is time. They're actually looking for more information. And you're the only one with the information they have, right? Like, hey, what questions do you have? What information can I give you? Or maybe they just don't know how to make a decision. You have people like this, right? That are just like, I don't know how to make a decision. Cool. Ask them these 3 questions. Will this get you closer to your goals? Yes. Do you trust me to live up to my end of the agreement, that I will be here, I will coach you, I will do all the things I've said to do? Yes. Do you believe this will work for you? And if you get a no, all right, let's talk about it. Why don't you think this will work for you? And now we're right back to your questions. And again, going back to a guarantee, maybe they can't make a decision because they don't have the information. Cool. Here's 30 days. Get them to make a decision by not actually making a decision. Just get them to come in. I'm thinking about which future are we killing off today, right? You're either going to join, and we're going to kill off the future of the past that you've had where you've gained that 20 pounds or you've become unhealthy, or we're going to kill off the future of your dreams. Future. What happens if you do the same thing for the next 5 years? You just said you gained 20 pounds these past 5 years. You're going to gain another 20 pounds? You're going to get more sick? You're going to need to go on more drugs? What happens if you don't do this? What happens for those of you that are business owners if we don't decide to work on our business, right? Do we continue to struggle to pay rent? Do we continue to not be sure where new members are coming from? You have to consider the options. And ultimately, you don't plan on struggling forever, do you? You're going to do something eventually, right? So why not do it today? And then asking them, do you think this will get you closer to your goal? Again, if it's a no, cool, let's talk about it. If it's a yes, well, what are we waiting for? Last bonus, right? So we've had time, we've had money, we've had fit, we've had needing to ask our spouse, we've had avoidance or self. And then one of the last questions I like to ask, or tell them is, the reason you say you can't, the reason you're not doing this thing is the exact reason why you need to. Because how many more years is January 1st going to roll around and you say, my goal is to lose 20 pounds? How many more years as affiliate owners are you going to say, next year is the year I'm going to pay myself? Next year is the year. My affiliate dues are going to be right ready in my budget September 1st when they're due. The reason you think you can't is the exact reason you need to do it. So as I wrap up, any questions on anything? I like any questions. Time, money, fit. Cool. Well, I'm here if you have questions. Because you have a decision to make. So we worked on killing zombies for potential members. Do you guys feel like you can go back and handle objections a little better now? Just again, think about the framework. It's not about scripting it. It's about better understanding people. But we've helped you kill zombies. There's the link to book a call. If you have any questions about that, you talk to Fern, you talk to me, you talk to this guy in the cowboy hat, Joel. We would love to help you guys. This is what we do. Like I said, if you think that was helpful to help make more sales, it's a very, very small percentage of what we do, from coaching to developing your coaches to developing your business. We're here for you. Fern?
What would you say is the number one of those that we'll get from clients, the struggle ones?
I would say it's two. It's going to be money and spouse. You guys agree? Which one of those is harder for you to, of those two, for you guys to handle? What about it? As soon as they walk out the door, the chances of them coming back is slower, right? How many of you offer that, whether it's 3, 7, 30-day guarantee? None of you. None of you? None of you? Cool. Well, hey, it's free, right? It's not free. It's money back, right? It's guaranteed. If you come back and your husband is upset, and in that case, I'd add a little bit of, hey, if you sign up today, we'll knock off X. And if your husband comes back and says, I like you the way you are, I don't want you to be happy and healthy, I want you to be unhealthy, come back. Here's your money back. It works well when you pair that with some sort of reason to sign up today. It's challenging, but again, that's where you have to believe in it. Like I asked earlier if you guys are in sales, and I know, like, as righteous CrossFit owners, you don't think you are. You are. You're in sales, and it's not. Sales is not a 5 or 4-letter word, right? It is what it is. You're selling something, but you're selling something. You guys buy something every day, but don't feel like you go into Starbucks. You don't feel like you're being sold. You're like, I need coffee, right? These people need what you have. CrossFit will. How many of you have had your lives changed because of CrossFit? Don't you want more people? Like, every one of you, none of you open your gym and say, I want to be rich, which I also think is somewhat of a mistake. You should try to be successful, right? I sold my first gym for nearly $1 million. All of you that think, oh, I can't get rich owning a CrossFit, you're choosing not to. When I opened in 2007, I did not think I was like, I hope I can just work less. Like, I want to make, my goal in 2007 was like, if I can make $24,000 a year doing this thing, I'll be happy. 7 years later, I sold it for $1 million. I wasn't doing anything crazy. I just truly believed in what I did. Still do. That's why I still do CrossFit in my basement. Still go to the box down the road. But if you believe in it, it doesn't feel like sales. You can look at those as like, oh, I'm pushing them and I'm trying to get them to do this. You're coaching them. You're guiding them to make a decision. They walked into your gym or they filled out that lead magnet because they are dealing with something in their lives, right? No one fills out a lead magnet at 2 in the morning because they're happy. They just went to town on some Ben and Jerry's. Their husband or wife is sleeping upstairs while they're down on the couch because they're in a fight. The kids are acting like assholes because they're kids. They're unhappy. They're coming to you for help. And if you're like, oh, I don't want to be pushy, you're doing a bad job. You're doing a bad job. So enough with, like, how many of you are afraid to say, I want to make money owning a CrossFit? It's a business. How many businesses are out there like, hey, I hope we struggle to pay rent tomorrow, right? It's like, I opened my gym and I just wanted to, and then I was like, oh, this is good. This is working. I remember when the first coach I hired, I was like, oh, I can go home now? And this guy's going to run the gym? All right, this is pretty cool, right? It's a business. You can't forget that. It doesn't make you a bad person for paying yourself owning a business. That's how businesses work. We understand? Like, no more martyrdom in the CrossFit space. You know what won't help people? Closing your gym. How many of you have struggled to pay rent? How many of you, let me rephrase that. How many of you are or have been afraid to increase your rates because your members would be upset? Everybody. Would your members be more or less upset if you shut your doors? You're nodding. I know what you're saying, right? So it's like, yeah. Hey, I don't want to stand up here yelling at you guys. So what I would say, hey, do you mind if I put my coaching hat on? We'd love to chat with you. Like I said, if you don't have a good call with Lindsay, which is nearly impossible, personally, my bank account, my credit card, to Rogue Fitness, Bill Henniger, Katie, take my money. You're not going to ask for it because that's how good it is. We would love to help you. Who works with us currently? Who's had a good time with us currently? There you go, right? Thank you, guys.
If you are struggling with building your team, running the administrative portion of your gym, or just don't know what to do with regard to your strategy, that is exactly the things that we help people with inside of Affiliate University. So if you're trying to build a better box so that you can provide more impact to more people via this thing called CrossFit, we'd love to help you. So click the link somewhere around this video, set up a call, and we'll chat with you soon.